We're well into transfer season and the gossip is through the roof. However, if you remain calm and don't believe everything, I think it can be quite fun. I enjoy the hypothetical discussion triggered by some transfer rumours. So when West Ham get linked to a certain player, I discuss it with my friends. I enjoy it. Do we want him? Is the transfer fee a good one? Where would he fit in? What does it mean for the players currently at the club? I enjoy all that talk around it. It doesn't mean we believe the transfer rumour. We just like discussing it. When we get linked to a player that I would love to see at West Ham, I like getting my hopes up. I get a little bit excited. It doesn't mean I believe the transfer rumour. I would just love to see it happen. And I think that bit of hope is important as a football fan, because if you take away hope, what have you got? It must be pretty negative and unenjoyable. And I don't want to be like that. So I allow myself to get my hopes up sometimes. And a lot of the time, it's a silly thing to do, whether it be winning a certain game, buying a certain player, achieving something. Maybe it's unlikely to happen, but I allow myself to have that hope. However, on the flip side, there's some crazy stuff out there, isn't there? All the time. It happens in every transfer window. But this week, there's been some wild transfer rumours that are just clearly made up from a million miles away. Even if you don't support West Ham, or it might be in relation to another club, it's just made up. I'm convinced. Do you remember the Champions League group stage? You'd have the balls with all the balls in it. I'm speaking about it as if it's a really old format. It's only just changing this summer. But you know the one. All the balls with all the balls. I think that's how they do transfer rumours. They just chuck a load of names in the ball, chuck a load of transfer fees in the middle one, then the club at the end of it whip one out of each, and there you've got your transfer rumour. Jacob Murphy, Everton, 3 million. I mean, you could see that happening, couldn't you? But let's just make up a transfer rumour. There you go. That's what made up. Throw it out there. I've gone to uni, studied really hard, got a journalism degree, and this is what's come to making up transfer rumours as a job. Now, I can't really say anything. I discuss transfer rumours as a job. I discuss the made up transfer rumours that they've made up with their degree. Anyway, some wild things out there I've read this week. Still, not as wild as the comments I've read on the Jay Slater missing page. Someone thinks he's maybe missing because he's been stuck on a cactus. Anyway, we're not here to discuss that today. The transfer rumours we're discussing today, which I think are made up, are Lucas Paquetá and Mohammed Kudus going to Saudi. So first of all, we've got the Lucas Paquetá one, which is Al-Nassr. Now that's the Cristiano Ronaldo and Sadio Mane club. I struggle to remember the Saudi club, so do it by who plays for them. Mane and Ronaldo at Al-Nassr. They apparently want Lucas Paquetá. For Mohammed Kudus, it's Al-Ittihad, where Benzema plays there. The manager's just been sacked because he said he was going to drop Benzema. So they were like, right, you out. You can't do that. Out. You want to sack the star man? You're out of here. You're gone. You're sacked. He's not sacked. You're sacked. He didn't want to sack Benzema. He wanted to drop him. I got muddled up and I tried to just style it out, but got muddled up there. Anyway, those are the two transfer rumours, and I'm going to discuss them individually because there's more of a believable element to the Lucas Paquetá one, I think. But first of all, let's dismiss this Mohammed Kudus one, simply because he could have went there last summer. Kudus had the opportunity to go to Saudi last summer and he turned it down. He didn't want to go. He wanted to stay and play somewhere in Europe. Obviously, Premier League was the most likely destination. He had to talk to Brighton. I think he wanted to go to Chelsea, but that couldn't work out. So he's come to West Ham. He's got his minimum fee release clause for next summer. And I am incredibly calm about not losing Mohammed Kudus this summer. It would take a large fee. We know he's got the minimum fee release clause next summer. But what are we more likely to accept? 100 million now, or keep him for a season at 85 million? I actually think it would be the 85 million. Maybe that's what Guilherme is. Maybe he's the long-term Kudus replacement. I've got no concern about Mohammed Kudus going now. And if he did, it would be over 100 million. So I don't believe this transfer. I don't believe they want him because they would know how much it would cost to get Kudus out of us. And it's far too expensive. It's just not happening. Kudus one, big no-no. Now, the Lucas Paquetá one has a bit of the added twist because of the charge against him. So let's hear how it works. Let me patronise you for a couple of minutes. But essentially the FA have charged him. Paqueta's responded. We assume it's a not guilty plea. I think we would have heard if it was the opposite. The Brazil FA have done their version of an investigation by speaking to the English FA. They're happy for him to continue playing for Brazil at Copa America off the back of that, which gives me a little bit of hope because it would be somewhat shameful for them if Paquetá was to get banned. But saying that, if they win the Copa America and he gets banned in October, I don't think they're really going to care. Regardless, that's where we're at now. We're now waiting for the hearing for Lucas Paquetá. Obviously, if he's found guilty, he can appeal. This could go on for a long, long time. However, it's the English FA that's charging him. It's not FIFA, it's the English FA. Now, if he's found guilty, the English FA reportedly are going to push for it to be a worldwide ban. Ultimately, the only thing that could happen immediately is that he gets found guilty and he gets banned in England. And it would be a substantial one. 10 years plus, possibly. But let's just say let's even just be very kind and say it's a 5-year one. It would be a ban in England only initially. Now, the English FA then have to try and get FIFA to charge him and get him banned worldwide. Doesn't mean that would happen. So, would a club, Al-Nassr or anybody else, want to sign Lucas Paquetá with the possibility that he would be banned in England and then the FA would try and get him banned worldwide? That's the gamble here, ironically. Didn't mean that pun, but it was quite a good one. But that's the gamble for any club that decide to try and sign Lucas Paquetá this summer. Now, the Saudis are governed by FIFA. They are part of FIFA. So, obviously not every nation is under the FIFA umbrella, but those that can afford him are. So, if FIFA decided to ban him, he wouldn't be able to play for Al-Nassr either. But perhaps maybe, I don't believe this transfer rumour. I'm clutching at straws here, but I'm discussing it hypothetically. This is it. Maybe they feel that it's worth the risk, that they could try and sign him for a cut price and hope that either A, the English FA don't find him guilty, and B, if they do, FIFA decide not to take it further than that. There might be an opportunity there. And it would be interesting to see what West Ham would do if any club rocked up and put down a £40 million bid for Lucas Paquetá and said, there you go, £40 million. It would be very interesting to see what West Ham would do. Do we sell him just in case he's found guilty? Or do we stand by Lucas Paquetá and say, no, we believe him, he's innocent, we're going to reject that and we're going to keep our £85 million man? I think it would cause West Ham a big complication, and I think I would understand why they decided to cash in just on the off chance. But it's not just the off chance he's found guilty, it's the whole impact on Lucas Paquetá. I did the video last week or the week before based on the report in The Athletic about how it really impacted him. He was really low in confidence and he didn't want to go out, and Emerson and Edson Alvarez plus others were rallying around him. So even if he was found not guilty, there could be a large period of time between now and that hearing. In this case of what version of Lucas Paquetá do we have? And I know there's obviously the human element to it, but the club will be looking at this, if there was a bid, from a business perspective, which is maybe we actually just cash in on him and let it be someone else's problem. Give the money to Tim Stein and say, now go replace Lucas Paquetá. As a fan, it's difficult because we don't know everything regarding the Paquetá situation. What we do know is Paquetá thinks he's innocent. He's told everyone he's innocent. But that's it. It doesn't mean he is. But also, it doesn't mean he'll be found innocent. There could be that issue, that potential situation where he's found guilty, but he hasn't actually done anything. This isn't a criminal conviction, so there's no hard evidence required here. It can be circumstantial, which it is, and it's done on probability rather than actual hard evidence. I think that might come into, that might be the difference of punishment he gets should he be found guilty, rather than getting a lifetime ban. It might be a lot less because it's based on circumstantial rather than hard evidence. But if the Saudis were to come in for Lucas Paquetá, I'd be genuinely intrigued as to what West Ham would do, because I could completely understand if they decided, you know what, we're going to cash in here. And if he was found not guilty, or FIFA didn't decide to pursue it, ultimately Al-Nassr, who are trying to grow the profile of the game, would have just scooped a very big name in Brazilian football for quite a low fee in terms of what he's actually worth. And if this time in a year or 2 years' time, that this case is now blowing over, there's no charge levied against Lucas Paquetá, they could sell him. They could sell Lucas Paquetá. He'd still only be 28 years old. He'd still be worth a lot of money. Assuming he retains his ability, he'd be worth a lot of money playing in the Brazil international squad. So it could actually be worth the gamble, pun intended that time, for Al-Nassr to get Lucas Paquetá in for a cut price, because we wouldn't be able to demand 80, 100 million for him. If someone came in for him today, we'd basically have to take what we can get, assuming the club decide to offload him. Now, while I don't believe the transfer rumour, I do think it presents an interesting scenario that if it was to happen, what West Ham would do. And I would understand if they decided to cash in. Like I said, the Mohammed Kudus one, I don't believe it. There's another report that came out after this one saying Mohammed Kudus wants to go to Saudi. I don't believe that at all. It would have been easy for him to go there last summer. Last summer, he was leaving Ajax. Ajax were negotiating with anybody. For him to go to Saudi was on the cards. Pardon me. It was a simple, if that's his destination, he wants to go and cash in, go do it. I don't think it is. He's come to West Ham. And remember, he walked away from Brighton because of a lack of minimum fee release clause. Now, sure, we probably paying him more than what he was getting at Brighton. He couldn't go to Chelsea for whatever reason. The minimum fee release clause to me indicates that his priority is football and not necessarily money. Because if it was, he wouldn't be too fussed about that release clause. But that was an important thing for him. He wouldn't sign without it in his contract, which to me suggests he's got big ambitions, which is likely to be, at the minute, Man City, Real Madrid, Barcelona, somewhere, go to one of the biggest clubs in the world and achieve greatness with those. I've got a feeling, I say a feeling, the evidence to me suggests that's his ambition, not to make his bank bigger. People change though. It's been a year. Maybe he has decided. I just struggle because the sources attached to these reports are not reliable when it comes to West Ham news. I guess they don't need to be in this case. They just need to be reliable when it comes to Saudi news. However, I would suggest perhaps they don't have great track records when it comes to news out of Saudi either. Don't believe either transfer rumour, but you never know. I could be wrong. One of these might happen. We'll have to wait and see. But get your thoughts in the comments below. Right, coming up on Ham's Chat over the next few days, we've got a Scotland preview, we've got an England preview, I've got a podcast with Frankie coming up this weekend, and Sunday 9am we're live on the channel. Myself and Charlie, he's returned from his holiday, so myself and Charlie will be live at 9am on Sunday. So if you're kicking around with nothing to do in the morning, come and join us for a chin wag about all things West Ham, and we'll discuss the Euros a little bit as well. But if you've enjoyed this video, please drop a like on it, subscribe to Ham's Chat, and if you're out wandering, be careful you don't get stuck to a cactus.